Young and Restless 2-week spoilers November 3rd to 14th. Audra's sinister secret unleashed and Jack's panic spiral. Monday, November 3rd, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, cannot believe that she is staring at a not-so-dead Matt Clark, but he's pretending to be Mitch Bacall, Roger Howarth. So, he plays dumb and says Sharon is confused. He's fully trying to gaslight her when she can see exactly who he is. Mitch has the bouncer block her from the shadow room. So, Sharon runs to Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and tells him she saw evil Matt very much alive, but Nick, Joshua Morrow, doubts it. He watched Matt die right in front of him. But Sharon insists that Sienna's husband Mitch really is Matt Clark. And so Sharon now thinks that he went after Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, to hurt her or her and Nick both because Sienna said Mitch is the one who invited Noah to LA and as a matter of fact, he's been there several times over the past few months and they didn't know about it. Nick wants to see the guy face to face. So Sharon and Nick go back over to the shadow room. But the bouncer says Sienna and Mitch left. Doesn't want to let them in. Sharon grills the bouncer about Noah to distract him while Nick sneaks inside. Y&R spoilers. Sienna threatens Nick. And he asks Sienna about Matt Clark. But she legit does not seem to know that name. Not one bit. Nick wants to see Mitch. But Sienna says he left already. Nick thinks Sienna's lying and hiding something about Noah. And Sienna threatens that if Nick keeps hassling her and getting aggressive, she will ban him from the shadow room for good. So Nick tells Sienna, "Tell Mitch, I want to meet him." And after Nick goes, Mitch reappears. So, Sienna says that was Noah's father. And Sienna also tells her hubby that Nick thinks he's some guy named Matt Clark. And of course, he denies it. Nick tells Sharon he's going to sneak up on Mitch and take him by surprise. A night of passion and rising suspicions in Los Angeles. Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, and Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, agree they have no regrets for their wild night of nookie. Holden leaves early so Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, won't see him leaving her room, but only after Claire tackles him for round 2. After Holden goes, Claire does have a bit of guilt because Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, sent a photo of him and Harrison Locke, Redding Munsell, in Halloween costumes and she was supposed to be in a matching outfit. Back in Genoa City, Kyle is boozing and thinking of Claire when Jack joins him to say he's sorry. He asked Kyle to leave LA, but he tells Jack that it's all Victor Newman's, Eric Braden, fault for plotting against Jabot. And Kyle thinks if he had never lied about what happened in France and with Audra, he'd still be with Claire. And he is quite worried about Holden and doesn't trust the guy with her. But Jack thinks Claire is smart enough to make good decisions. And Jack reminds Kyle that Claire is grieving her dad and dealing with a lot. But Kyle insists he needs to show Claire that Holden is a bad guy. Plus, Kyle thinks Sienna and Holden are hiding something. Young and the Restless spoilers. Claire needs clarity. Back in LA, Claire tells Victoria she doesn't know if she's figuring things out or just running from her problems. But Victoria thinks Claire is pressuring herself too much. And Victoria tells Claire that she does not have to be with Kyle to have Harrison in her life when Claire brings up the fact that she feels guilty for missing Halloween with Harrison. And it is true that Kyle does have Harrison as leverage, but he really shouldn't be using his kid that way. Noah's miraculous recovery and Audra's shocking secret on Y&R. Tuesday, November 4th, we've got Sharon and Nick rushing back to the hospital. Noah is waking up from the coma, and Sharon is thrilled. So Noah officially wakes up. Sharon's very emotional when she sees Noah's face because he had a lot of damage in the craniofacial region. And Lucas Adams makes his official debut as recast Noah when those bandages come off on Tuesday. Holden is keeping a secret for Audra. Now, this week we're going to see scenes of her at the Shadow Room in LA, but I don't think Audra goes to Los Angeles. I think this is a flashback scene because she looks like she's dressed very differently. Her hairstyle's different. It's not how she looks now. Nikki worries about the choices that Claire is making. And Grandma Nikki think that Claire is moving too fast with Holden, Nathan. A tense confrontation and mounting evidence. Wednesday, November 5th, we've got Sienna covering her tracks with the police. Now, I do wonder if she's the one who called 911 to report Noah's car accident, and she had been calling and talking to him a lot before the crash. Victoria also agrees that something is really off with Noah's accident this week. Victoria might pick up on some sort of clue. And Nick finally gets FaceTime with one of his worst enemies of all time on Young and the Restless. Nick and Matt are face-to-face on Wednesday. Thursday, November 6th, we've got Jack and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, coming together to help Kyle. Maybe they tell him that they'll take care of everything so Kyle can go back to Los Angeles. Something like that. Meanwhile, Nick worries that Sharon Case, is in grave danger. And obviously, that's from Matt Clark, who in the past raped her and just did all this horrible, horrible stuff. They dug up one of the worst villains from Sharon's past. That's all they seem to do to Sharon is just torment her. Right. Plus, explains to his parents what he's been doing all this time he spent away from Genoa City. And I do wonder if we're going to get an update on his relationship status with Aling Gwyn, Kelsey Wong. Victor's secret war and Kyle's dramatic return. Friday, November 7th. Victor's planning to attack his enemies on the sly. Obviously, this is Jabot and Jack and the AI. Sienna and Mitch are at their club with Holden. And Mitch is very happy to see his old friends, says it's been a minute. And then Holden introduces Claire to Mitch aka Matt. Kyle confronts Claire about what she's been doing in Los Angeles. So, I do wonder if Kyle leaves Genoa City and goes back there and finds out she slept with Holden or if this is a FaceTime call. We'll see. Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, has completely had it with Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, by the end of the week. So, Lily's patience is wearing out. This is probably about the AI software that he said they could destroy together and he still doesn't have it back. Upcoming Young and the Restless spoilers. Weddings, lies, and betrayals unfold. November 10th through the 14th, we've got family and friends gathering for Christine Williams, Laura Lee Bell, and Danny Romalotti's, Michael Damian, wedding. Can Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, avoid temptation to crash? I doubt it. Claire is torn between Holden and Kyle. And the guilt over Harrison, Redding Munsell, the winds of chaos are sweeping through Genoa City once again, and this time, Audra Charles is standing right at the center of the storm. Elegant, calculating, and dangerously composed. For weeks, she's been juggling her alliances with Tucker McCall and Kyle Abbott like a professional puppeteer, but now her strings are starting to tangle. When her darkest secret comes to light, the fallout is nothing short of explosive, especially for Jack Abbott, whose world begins to crumble in a way he never expected. It all starts innocently enough, or at least it seems to. Audra strolls into Newman Media with her usual confidence, her red lipstick gleaming like a warning sign. Nate Hastings greets her with that wary charm he reserves for adversaries, not allies. "You've been quiet lately," Nate remarks, eyeing her suspiciously. "That's never a good sign." Audra smirks. "Some of us don't need to announce our every move, Nate. Power is quiet." But Nate's words stick in the air, heavy with foreshadowing. Genoa City has learned the hard way that Audra's silence means something is brewing, and what's coming will shake the corporate and personal foundations of Newman Enterprises and Jabot alike. The secret surfaces. Later that week, Ashley Abbott receives an anonymous envelope at Jabot. Inside is a single USB drive labeled Project Artemis. Her curiosity gets the best of her, and she plugs it in, only to find a series of confidential recordings. The voice is unmistakable. Audra Charles. In the recordings, Audra discusses a covert plan with Tucker, one that involves the deliberate sabotage of Jabot's supply chain and insider manipulation of Newman Media stock. But the most shocking part? She references Jack Abbott, claiming he's unknowingly tied to her scheme. Ashley is horrified. For all their differences, she knows her brother wouldn't be part of something this shady, but she also knows Audra is cunning enough to make it look like he is. She immediately confronts Tucker, who denies everything, of course. "You think I'd risk everything I've built to help her?" Tucker insists. Audra's playing her own game, and now we're all pawns in it. But it's too late. The rumor mill explodes. Word spreads across Genoa City that Jack and Audra may be involved in corporate espionage, and that Jack used Jabot resources to secretly fund a Newman Media acquisition. Jack's panic spiral. Jack Abbott has weathered more than his share of scandals, but this one hits differently. His company's reputation is on the line, and his family is fracturing under the weight of suspicion. Phyllis, always eager to stir the pot, drops by with that trademark glint in her eye. "So, Jackie," she teases, "Audra's got her claws in you too? I have to admit, I didn't see that coming. You usually fall for women who ruin you slowly, not all at once." Jack snaps. "Enough, Phyllis. This isn't a game. But it is a game, one that's spinning out of his control." Jack's panic grows as Victor Newman begins sniffing around, claiming he has proof that Jack has been working against Newman Enterprises. Jack's board grows nervous. Billy demands answers. Even Diane starts to doubt him, sensing that his stress runs deeper than he's admitting. "Jack," she whispers one night at the Abbott mansion, "if there's something you're not telling me, I need to know. You've been losing sleep, avoiding calls. What's going on?" Jack runs a hand through his hair, his voice cracking. "I don't know what's happening anymore, Diane. I swear, I didn't do anything wrong. But someone out there wants to make it look like I did, and they're winning." Audra's empire crumbles. Meanwhile, Audra feels the walls closing in. Tucker cuts ties. Nate refuses to cover for her. Victoria Newman, ever the strategist, corners her in the Newman offices. "You played a dangerous game, Audra," Victoria says coldly. "You wanted to manipulate Tucker, seduce Kyle, and outsmart me. But you made one fatal mistake." Audra crosses her arms. "And what's that?" Victoria steps closer. "You underestimated me." Victoria slams a folder on the desk. Copies of the same Project Artemis recordings. "You left a trail. Tucker didn't leak this. Someone else did. My money's on your own tech team, the one you didn't pay enough to stay loyal." Audra's facade falters for the first time. She laughs. Bitterly. "You think you've won? You forget who you're dealing with, Victoria. I don't crumble, I rebuild." But the truth is, she is crumbling. Her connections are gone. Her reputation is toxic. And when she finds out who actually leaked the files, Kyle Abbott, her fury is volcanic. Kyle reveals himself during a confrontation at Society, with Jack, Diane, and Ashley present. "I had to do it," Kyle says. "Audra used me, used my family, and I wasn't going to let her drag us down. I found the files on her cloud and sent them to Ashley anonymously." Audra glares at him, eyes blazing. "You think this ends me, Kyle? You've just unleashed something you can't control." The twist, Audra's true master. Just when everyone thinks Audra is finished, a new player enters the picture. A mysterious investor who's been quietly bankrolling her operations from the shadows. That investor? Jordan Howard. Yes, the same Jordan who once tormented the Newman family is back, and Audra has been her secret protégé all along. Jordan appears at Audra's hotel room, clapping slowly. "Well done, my dear," she purrs. "You've stirred up quite the mess. Now it's time to finish what we started." Audra's expression hardens. "You told me to infiltrate Newman and Jabot, not destroy my entire career." Jordan smirks. "Collateral damage. You didn't think this was about business, did you? It's about revenge. And now that Jack and Victor are at each other's throats again, Genoa City is ripe for the taking." Audra's eyes widen as she realizes she's been a pawn in a much darker plot. "You used me." Jordan steps closer, her tone icy. "No, darling. I trained you. And now you'll either stand with me, or be buried with the rest."